When everyone was obsessed with the cute and cuddly Cabbage Patch Kids, one collector went the other way.
My Pail Kids collection. It's the series, a full set. When everybody else had like Cabbage Patch Kids, I had Pail Kids because they're just like the grittier version.
How did you actually come across the cards?
I won a rock, paper, scissors game with my friend.
Because in 1985, Topps flipped the toy world upside down with a parody that was weird, wild, and wonderfully gross. The Garbage Pail Kids. Created by the Topps company, these cards weren't just collectibles. They were stickers packed with dark humor, wild illustrations, and outrageous names that mocked the perfect world of Cabbage Patch Kids. They caused such a stir that some schools even banned them. However, this collection isn't just random cards. It's two complete series. Series 1 and Series 2, both in A and B variants. That means each artwork has two character names, like 1A Nasty Nick and 1B Evil Eddie. Each series had 41 A cards and 41 B cards. That's 82 per set, and these came from wax packs that once sold for just 25 cents each. In the packs were found the ultimate icons, Atom Bomb and Blasted Billy, the explosive duo that became the face of Garbage Pail Kids, featured on every pack up through Series 5.
If you remember opening the wax packs back in 1985 up through Series 5, he was the image on every single card pack, so it's so recognizable.
Oh, you're right.
But condition is everything when it comes to cards. The Nasty Nick card in this set shows a slight corner bend and off-centering, meaning it would likely grade between a 7 and an 8 if professionally appraised. Even so, it's incredibly valuable, with Nasty Nick and Evil Eddie alone worth $250, $350 each. Atom Bomb and Blasted Billy go for $200, $300 each. Put it all together. Series 1, Series 2, both variants and all 160-plus cards, and the full collection could bring in a conservative.
Cumulatively speaking, for your whole collection, Series 1, Series 2, all the variant cards, you're looking at auction today, conservatively, $1,000 to $1,500. An unbelievable, phenomenal set.
Awesome.
Long before comic art was valued as it is today, a young boy named Jack Kent had a vision. In the 1930s and 1940s, as a teenager, he wrote letters to all his favorite cartoonists asking for original comic strips.
Original comic strips, which in those days they sent to him. And many of them sent them with comments and signatures specifically to him.
Jack Kent would later become a cartoonist himself, but these priceless gifts from his teenage years were tucked away in storage for decades after his passing in 1985. The first piece is a hand-tinted Crazy Cat by George Harriman, created around 1938. Harriman, one of the great pioneers of American comics, first launched Crazy Cat in 1913, published under Hearst's Syndicate. The strip followed the surreal misadventures of a cat and a mischievous mouse named Ignatz, known for humor, subtle politics, and dreamlike artistry. This rare piece, featuring the character Lil Thin Dime and commentary on taxes, the best of the best. The estimated auction value is $50,000 to $60,000, possibly more.
I would put an estimate on this of $50,000 to $60,000. Very honestly, I think it could bring more.
Next, a Prince Valiant in the Days of King Arthur, Sunday strip from April 17, 1937, the same year the series began. Its sweeping medieval imagery captures Prince Valiant in his youth, printed by King Features Syndicate. Despite slight edge wear, it remains an extraordinary early example, and it's valued between $40,000 and $60,000.
This one is very desirable, being so early, and I would put a value on this at auction of $40,000 to $60,000.
And then a treasure from the Disney Vault, an original Mickey Mouse comic strip, signed thus.
Another piece Walt Disney did for a Sunday daily, and it is also 1937.
Created in 1937, this piece comes straight from the Walt Disney Studios in remarkably good condition, estimated at $15,000 to $20,000, and possibly higher given its rarity and direct signature. Today, the collection's total worth exceeds
Everything that you brought in that portfolio, which is just seminal cartoons, well in excess of $200,000. I mean...
Goodness.
You can see why my heart just went pitter pat when you opened that portfolio.
I'm astonished.
In 1970, a couple walked into the Ivoli Gallery in Great Neck, New York, and left with two bold, abstract paintings by a then-forgotten artist named Rolph Scarlett.
Who was interested in having a retrospective of his work. He painted, did prints, sent them to her. She put them in the Guggenheim in the basement, waiting to get a retrospective done.
Each piece cost just $250, but what they didn't realize was that behind those vivid shapes and colors lay a story of ambition, heartbreak, and artistic legacy. Born in 1889 in Canada, Rolph Scarlett rose to prominence as one of the first American artists associated with the Guggenheim Museum, then called the Museum of Non-Objective Painting. In 1939, he began an 8-year tenure there, teaching and exhibiting under the patronage of Peggy Guggenheim, one of the most influential art collectors of the 20th century. According to gallery law, Guggenheim once promised Scarlett a retrospective exhibition. He sent her paintings and prints all stored in the Guggenheim's basement, awaiting the show. But time passed, money ran low, and frustration grew. Scarlett eventually left New York, heading west to work as a set and jewelry designer. Feeling betrayed, Guggenheim cut ties, and somehow Scarlett's works found their way into the hands of the Ivoli Gallery, where they were later rediscovered.
And I found it interesting that on the back, the labels say circa 1946. And that was just prior to his leaving. In 1947, he did move out west for a very brief stint.
The two surviving pieces from that purchase, both dated circa 1946, are classic examples of Scarlett's non-objective abstraction, not literal landscapes, but emotional compositions of color, form, and balance.
In 1939, was contracted to teach at the Guggenheim, which was then known as the Museum of Non-Objective Painting.
The larger piece, Two Red Stars, combines oil, watercolor, and gouache on paper, a true mixed-media experiment that foreshadowed his later Woodstock years.
And they may have been a bit more contrived. I don't know that these are necessarily landscape subjects. They're more studies in abstraction. The larger work actually has a title, Two Red Stars.
Today, his paintings remain in the permanent collection of the Guggenheim, some of its earliest acquisitions. At auction, the smaller piece cost between $2,000 to $4,000, while the larger piece, Two Red Stars, costs.
And the larger example, which is what he's well known for, would be expected to fetch somewhere in the region of $3,000 to $5,000.
Oh, that's lovely. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
In the early 1970s, a whirlwind romance that began in San Antonio, Texas, led to an elopement to Beverly Hills.
She met him in San Antonio, and within a couple of weeks, I think they eloped. I think it was just a couple of weeks of knowing each other. And when she came back, they went on a trip to Beverly Hills, where he had a home there as well as in San Antonio.
Though short-lived, it came with one unforgettable symbol, a breathtaking emerald-cut diamond ring. Emerald cuts, first popular in the 1920s, are loved for their clean, modern lines, a design that highlights a diamond's clarity rather than its sparkle. This one is nearly flawless. So clear that even under close inspection, almost no inclusions could be found, something incredibly rare in natural diamonds.
One of the first things I noticed about this stone was its incredible clarity, and that means its lack of inclusions. All diamonds, well, most diamonds, have some kind of inclusion. It's just a natural process of how they grow in the earth.
The ring features a 5-carat emerald-cut diamond set in platinum with 2 tapered baguettes on each side. Though the Van Cleef & Arpels signature no longer appears on the band, likely removed during resizing, the original paperwork confirms its prestigious origin. Back in 1973, the ring was appraised at $2,500, a significant sum for the time and possibly close to what was originally paid. Today, this exquisite piece tells not just a story of luxury and fleeting love, but of craftsmanship and timeless beauty.
This has a classic setting for an emerald-cut diamond, which is a 4-pronged setting, and then at the side are 2 tapered baguettes.
And I know it's platinum.
It's
set in
platinum. Oh, it's certainly platinum, yes.
At auction, its value would now be estimated between $80,000 and $120,000 with an insurance recommendation of
If this were at auction, would probably estimate it 80 to 120,000.
Oh, great. Well, that's a fantastic.
All right.
At a quiet estate sale, tucked against a wall in the corner of a crowded room, sat a dusty old painting that most people ignored. But the guest, who had spotted it earlier in the online preview, made sure to arrive first in line and got it for $40. The artist is Maurice Braun, born in 1877 and died in 1941. He was a Hungary-born American impressionist known for capturing the golden light and vast beauty of Southern California's landscapes. Braun's journey began in Hungary, but his artistry flourished in New York, where he studied under the legendary William Merritt Chase, one of America's most influential artists and teachers. In 1909, Braun moved to San Diego, where he fell deeply in love with the region's unique light and scenery. His paintings were more than landscapes. They were...
So he believed in the unity of man and nature, and so when he was painting, that was really an expression of that. This is a oil paint on canvas.
Influenced by theosophy and transcendentalism, he painted to reflect that harmony. This particular piece, an oil painting on canvas titled The Road to the Hills, likely dates between 1910 and the 1930s. The painting is in its original frame, which collectors prize for authenticity, and despite its dirty surface, that layer of grime is actually a good sign, proof that the artwork remains untouched and original.
What I love to see in a painting is it's really, really dirty.
Yes, it is. I'm sorry.
Now that might say, no need to apologize. That's a good thing in our world, so that's actually a very good thing.
Even more impressive, the painting's subject and lighting clearly mark it as a Southern California scene, the kind of work most sought after by collectors of California Impressionism. This $40 estate sale find at an auction would be worth between...
Would you be surprised if I told you it was worth at auction 10 to 15,000?
That would be awesome. Yeah.
An heirloom passed down through generations, a Chinese embroidery said to have been purchased in Beijing during the Boxer Rebellion. The owner's grandfather, part of the International Relief Expedition, bought it from a street vendor after the Empress Dowager Cixi fled the palace with her entourage. But there's a twist. Before the vendor handed it over, he removed the face from the embroidered figure, claiming it had been painted on silk and that no commoner was ever allowed to see the Empress Dowager's face. Experts, however, reveal a different story. The artwork doesn't depict the Empress Dowager. It portrays a celestial court beauty, a symbol of divine grace and longevity. She holds bars containing the elixir of long life, surrounded by attendants bearing peaches and symbols of shu, long life.
Those at the Asian table have seen this figure depicted in Chinese art often, and it's not the Empress Dowager.
Okay.
This is a court beauty, a celestial beauty.
Even her pendant carries the sacred show motif. The figure's padded, hand-painted face, the most fragile part of such textiles, often deteriorates or detaches over time, which could explain its absence. This exquisite embroidery, once believed to be imperial, was more likely crafted for an upper-middle-class Chinese merchant family, celebrating prosperity and long life, not royalty.
All right. I'm used to her without the face. In our family, it's always been known as the faceless lady, so we...
Despite its missing face, the piece retains vibrant color and fine craftsmanship. With restoration, rethreading, or in-painting, its value could reach up to $3,500. But as it is, it would fetch...
It would have a value of $3,500.
I see, okay.
At an auction in Fort Walton Beach, Florida, the guest spotted a vibrant Florida landscape painted on simple masonite board and framed with house molding.
The auctioneer, a good friend of mine, says, well, I'll waive my commission. The first $500 buys it. I went, and I bought it.
Bought for $500, this painting turned out to be a rare piece by Harold Newton, one of the founding members of the Florida Highwaymen, a legendary group of 26 self-taught black artists who began painting. In the 1950s, denied access to galleries during segregation, the Highwaymen took their art to the open road, selling their vivid scenes of Florida's untouched beaches, royal palms, and sunsets from the trunks of their cars for just $25 to $50 apiece. Their works captured the raw, natural beauty of mid-century Florida, long before the rise of high-rises and highways. Newton, who lived from 1934 to 1994, was often regarded as the group's finest painter, their trainer, A.E. Beanie Bacchus encouraged these young black artists to develop their own styles and independence. Newton's mastery of light, color, and motion gave each landscape an almost spiritual stillness, like this one, an unspoiled view with no people, no buildings, just the soul of old Florida. The piece, framed in pickled oak with a whitewashed liner, suggests it's an early work from the late 1950s, a time when the Highwaymen movement was just taking off. Today, at auction, this painting would have an estimated value between...
And today at auction, this would probably bring somewhere between $8,000 and $12,000.
I wasn't going to say this, but golly.